What's going on, everyone? Alex here and welcome back to the channel. As you've guessed by the title of the video, we are talking about the Canon EOS R and how it's been for me after 1 year of use. The infamous Canon EOS R. This camera got so much crap when it was released, all because of the specs, really, when you think about it. It wasn't what everyone was expecting for Canon's first flagship full-frame mirrorless camera. I even had a Canon 5D Mark IV, and when the specs were released on this camera, I could not believe what I was seeing. They were identical. Same 30 megapixel sensor, video specs were the same. You had a massive crop in the 4K of 1.74, which, by the way, I haven't really had an issue with so far. You have 24p, 30p, 60p, and full HD, and then you have slow motion in the form of 120 frames per second, but in 720p. I'm just gonna set that down right now. So yes, when it was first released, this camera did not have a lot going for it. I myself was not super thrilled about it, because it was essentially a Canon 5D Mark IV, which I owned, and I loved that camera, and I still do love that camera. It's a great camera. I went into a local Best Buy. They had the Canon EOS R on display. I held it in my hands, and right then and there, I knew I wanted this camera because it just felt really good. I do take photos, but my first love will always be video. And for me, the flip screen is it's a no-brainer. That's what really sold me. When I went into the Best Buy, I held the camera, I saw the flip screen, I played with the flip screen. I just knew right away, I was like, I have to have this camera. I see it being more beneficial to me than the 5D Mark IV with its fixed screen. So for instance, it only has one card slot. And coming from the 5D Mark IV, I will say yes, having 2 card slots was nice, but I have yet to have a card fail on me. Knock on wood. To me, the positives far outweigh the negatives of this camera. The video quality of this camera has been amazing so far. The last 2 videos that I shot here on YouTube were with this camera. Now, I will say there is a caveat to that, and that is because I had it paired with the Ninja V. And with the Ninja V, I can get 10-bit 422 externally, but my peak design video, I actually shot 8-bit 422 in full frame. And then I actually exported it in 4K and uploaded it in 4K. Honestly, I'm blown away with the quality of this camera. The fact that it has built-in C-Log, I was, yes. Yes, yes, finally, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you, Canon. Thank you for finally adding C-Log into a camera that is not a cinema camera. We've been wanting it, we've been asking for it, finally got it, and it's fantastic. I love C-Log, I love grading C-Log. I think it's one of the easiest logs to grade. The one thing that I absolutely loathe on this camera, that is a very strong word. It is, it's a very strong word. I loathe this feature on this camera, and that is the touch bar. I think the touch bar was such a bad idea, such a bad idea. It's the worst, it's the dumbest thing that Canon could do. Honestly, I haven't used it really for anything. The only thing I have it used and set for is when I'm reviewing photos. If I see a photo I took that I like, that I want to use, I have it set this right here. If I tap it, it'll rate it. Because the 5D Mark IV has a dedicated button to rate photos. So that is literally the only purpose that I use the touch bar for. Other than that, it's a hot mess. It's a hot piece of garbage. Who approved this atrocious monstrosity of a feature on a camera? I don't know. If they didn't have that touch bar, then they could have easily put a couple other buttons right there. Maybe kept the joystick, which I did. I did like the joystick from my 5D Mark IV. But I will say that this camera does have a really sweet feature, and that is touch the drag. That's how you kind of move your autofocus points around. And at first I thought I would hate it, but it actually works surprisingly well. So once you put your eye up to the viewfinder, you can actually select a corner of the camera to have kind of the virtual joystick. And when you kind of drag, and when you find your spot, you just focus, and boom, you can take your photo. Definitely like that feature of this camera. One thing I am looking forward to is the future of RF lenses. I played around with some RF lenses at NAB last year. They are crazy sharp, super sharp. And I'm definitely looking forward to eventually getting some RF lenses for this camera. Also, fun little note, taking the lens off reveals this other feature. Every full frame camera should also be doing this. See that in there? See it? It's a curtain. Yeah, when you turn the camera off, it just shuts, and then you can actually just swap lenses without getting any dust or debris in it. That is amazing. Canon can get some things right every now and then, but then they have to go off and kind of shoot themselves in the foot with other little things. One thing I really appreciated from Canon was when they released this camera, they also released 3 different adapters for the camera. The basic adapter was the RF to EF mount, so that you can just basically slap on any of your old EF lenses. The next step up is the RF to EF adapter with the control ring. So it's this adapter that I have. They just added the control ring on it. I would like to invest in at some point and play around with, because I've heard really good things about the control rings. And the last adapter in the lineup was an adapter that has a drop-in filter. So you can drop in some polarizers, and you can drop in some variable ND. So kudos to you, Canon. Fun little fact for everyone, B&H is having a sale right now on the Canon EOS R for $1,799, and they are throwing in for free the drop-in filter adapter with a polarizer filter. They're just giving it away. They're just like, whatever. Yeah, we'll give it to you. We'll give it to you for free. No biggie. And like I said before, it is using the 30 megapixel sensor that the 5D Mark IV has. So yes, obviously the stills from this camera are absolutely amazing. One thing that sets this camera apart from the 5D Mark IV is the autofocus. They've added eye detection autofocus into this camera, and when I'm taking portraits, it's just nailing the eye all the time. And that helps my photos become crisp and clear and sharp and beautiful, and the raw files from this camera have been really great. Love it. So that is my review of the Canon EOS R after having it for about a year, and I'm loving it. I'm loving this camera, and I'm having fun using this camera. And that's what it should be about, right? As for us creators, it shouldn't be about what camera you have and specs here and specs there. It should be about the camera that you have and if you are having fun using it. And for me personally, I'm having a blast using the Canon EOS R. Well, that about wraps up this little review video. Please subscribe if you aren't already. Tap the notification bell so you can be notified when I upload a new video. And if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Until next time, shoot to create.